I always thought raising a child alone would be the hardest thing I'd ever do, but nothing could have prepared me for the heartbreak of watching my own daughter turn against me. From the moment Mia was born, I dedicated every breath to her. Her father, Daniel, left before she could even walk, said he wasn't built for family life. I didn't fight it. I promised myself Mia would never feel the lack of love or protection. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, teaching piano lessons in the evenings and working at the library during the day. Every milestone she hit felt like proof that the sacrifices were worth it. She was bright, kind, and had this spark that drew people to her. That's why, when she brought Ethan home one evening, I wanted to trust her judgment. He was charming, polite, even helped me set the dinner table. But something about him didn't sit right. His eyes lingered too long on our house, on the family photos. His smile never quite reached his eyes. Still, Mia was 24, old enough to make her own choices, I told myself. I didn't want to be the overbearing mother who pushed her child away. So I stayed quiet, observing. Then the small things started. He moved in quickly, saying his apartment lease was ending. Mia agreed without hesitation. Soon, I noticed she was withdrawing. She stopped coming home for Sunday dinners, stopped sharing the little details of her life. I'd call, and her voice sounded different, tense, almost rehearsed. When I asked if everything was okay, she'd laugh it off and said I was overthinking. I tried to believe her, but mothers have instincts, and mine were screaming that something was wrong. One afternoon, I went to her apartment unannounced with her favorite soup, thinking maybe I could just check in, see her face. When I arrived, she wasn't home, but he was. Ethan opened the door shirtless, holding a glass of whiskey. He looked me up and down, that same unsettling smile curling his lips. "She's not here, Linda," he said casually, like he'd been waiting for me. "Maybe next time, call first." I froze, feeling an unease I couldn't shake. "Tell her I came by," I managed. He chuckled. "Oh, she knows." And then he closed the door. That night, Mia called me furious. "Why did you go to our place without telling me?" she shouted. "Ethan said you were rude to him." I couldn't believe it. "Mia, I wasn't rude. I'm worried about you. There's something off about him." "Stop," she snapped. "You've never liked anyone I cared about. You just want me to be alone like you." Those words cut deeper than she could have imagined. For days, I couldn't eat or sleep. I kept replaying that conversation, wondering where I'd gone wrong. Then, one morning, I received a letter addressed to me at work, no return address, just my name typed neatly. Inside was a bank statement. Mia's name was listed as a joint account holder with Ethan, but the deposits and withdrawals were alarming. Large sums moving in and out every week, amounts far beyond her modest salary as a junior designer. I felt my heart race. Was he using her? I decided to investigate quietly. I contacted an old friend, Marianne, who worked in finance. She looked at the statement and frowned. "These look like layering transactions, classic fraud patterns. He's cycling money through her name to make it look clean." My blood ran cold. If the authorities catch it, she'll be implicated. "Unless she can prove she didn't know," Marianne said softly. That evening, I drove to Mia's again, determined to make her see reason. But when I confronted her, she defended him. "You don't understand, Mom. He's building a business. He said the transfers are temporary." "Mia, he's using your name for money laundering," I cried. She pushed back her chair, glaring. "You're paranoid. You've always hated the men I choose. Why can't you just be happy for me?" I wanted to scream, to shake her, to make her see sense, but she turned away, slamming the door behind me. That night, I sat at the kitchen table staring at my phone. I could call the police, but if I was wrong, I'd destroy her trust forever. If I was right and stayed silent, she'd lose everything. I chose to act. I started gathering evidence, copies of bank statements, text messages I'd seen on her phone when she visited, anything that tied Ethan to suspicious activity. I even followed him once, watching as he met a man in a parking lot and handed him a thick envelope. My stomach knotted, but I kept documenting. Weeks later, I anonymously tipped off the Financial Crimes Division. I didn't mention Mia, only Ethan. Then I waited. The silence that followed was suffocating. Mia stopped talking to me completely. She even blocked my number after accusing me of trying to ruin her happiness. I pretended not to care, but every night I lay awake wondering if I'd done the right thing. Then, one morning, I woke to flashing lights outside my house. News alerts flooded my phone. Local businessman arrested in money laundering operation. The name hit me like a thunderclap. Ethan Rhodes. I sat down slowly, the air leaving my lungs. Within hours, Mia was at my door, tears streaking her face. "You knew," she whispered. "You knew what he was doing." I said nothing at first, just opened my arms. She fell into them, sobbing like she hadn't since she was a little girl. "He told me it was all for us," she cried, "that it was just temporary." I stroked her hair, whispering softly, "He lied, sweetheart. He used you." Later, when she calmed down, I told her the truth, that I was the one who tipped off the police, that I'd done it to protect her, not to punish him. She looked at me in shock, then silence, and finally gratitude. "You saved me," she said quietly. In the weeks that followed, she started piecing her life back together. The authorities cleared her name after confirming the transactions were initiated by Ethan alone. His arrest led to multiple charges: fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. He'd been running schemes across several states. Mia moved back home temporarily. She was quieter, humbler, more thoughtful. One evening, we sat together watching the sunset from our porch. "You know," she said softly, "I thought I was in love, but I was really just trying to fill a void." I nodded. Sometimes love blinds us, especially when we want to believe someone sees us completely. She turned to me, her eyes shimmering. "You never stopped protecting me, did you?" "Never," I whispered. Months passed, and life found its rhythm again. Mia got a new job, made new friends, and even started volunteering at a legal aid center to help women facing financial manipulation. She told me once, "I guess some lessons only come through pain." I smiled sadly. Yes, but pain can be a teacher too. Years later, when she finally got engaged again, this time to a kind, grounded man named Alex, she asked me to walk her down the aisle. As we stood before the crowd, her hand in mine, she leaned in and whispered, "You saved me twice, once as a mother, once as a woman." And in that moment, I realized something I hadn't before. Revenge isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's about protection, about quietly doing what's right, even when the world misunderstands your silence. When I looked across the room and saw the faces of people who once judged me, I felt no bitterness, only peace. Because the best revenge, I learned, is seeing the person you love finally safe, free, and whole again.
You've just stepped into her revenge side, where every wound finds its justice, and every silence ends with truth. If her story struck a chord, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Another secret waits in the next video. See how her revenge begins.